Rules are so important at school and in the community. Rules are made so that everyone can stay safe and have fun. I love to follow the rules and do the right thing. Hey, I have some rules that you might know from school or even home. Let's see if you've heard some of these. Have you ever heard a grown-up say, "You have to listen"? I have. Listening is so important though. Sometimes we wonder, why do I always have to listen? But it really does keep us safe. When we're listening, we're able to hear what grown-ups and other friends have to say. Who knows, they might be saying something that is so important that you don't want to miss. It's also important to listen because there might be an emergency. When your teachers or grown-ups are talking, you have to make sure that you are listening so you hear what is being said. If there's an emergency, you want to make sure that you are listening so you know what to do. What do you think would happen if you missed something because you weren't listening? It could be unsafe for you and for other people. How about this one? Raise your hand. Have you ever heard a teacher or a grown-up tell you to raise your hand? Sometimes we get a little bit frustrated and we think, man, I have something so good to say, I just can't wait to raise my hand. But it's really important that you do raise your hand. If everyone blurts out at the same time, then nobody will be able to hear anything. If you raise your hand, then the teacher or another grown-up will know that you have something to say and they will call on you when the time is right. One rule that I really like is to take turns. Sometimes I know it can be very hard to take turns when you really want to play with something or do something that someone else has or wants. But it's super important. Think about it this way. If I had a toy that you really wanted to play with and I never took turns, would you ever get a chance to play with it? No, you wouldn't, and that might make you feel sad. So when you have something that someone else would like to have a turn with, you should be considerate and remember how you would feel if you would like a turn to play with that thing. When we take turns, everyone has the opportunity to share with different toys and play with different things, and then nobody has to feel left out. Another rule that's very important in the school and in the community is to keep our hands and our feet to ourselves. Sometimes we get a little bit excited and our hands or feet might touch our other friends, but we have to be very careful. We don't want to hurt anyone with our hands or our feet, so we have to make sure we keep them to ourselves. We don't want to be mean and we don't want to cause harm to anyone else. My favorite rule is to keep our hands and feet to ourselves so that everyone can make sure they are safe. Rules at school and in the community are very important. As you can see, we talked about a few rules and I told you why they can help keep us safe. Make sure that you are doing your best listening to adults and grown-ups. Make sure that you raise your hand if you have something important to say. Make sure you take turns when your friends have something that they'd like to play with. And always keep your hands and feet to yourself.